Okay, this will, I think, be one of the shorter lectures. We're just going to talk about first order serialism and get a good example here that's easy to talk about. And there's plenty of pieces, not so many by Schoenberg, Webern, and Berg, but other composers who have used the 12 tone method in a very simple, straightforward way. And some of them feel like this is the way to go. Why make it too complex? It's already an unfamiliar kind of approach to pitch. So, anyway, I think this is a good piece. Now, this is by this composer. I asked you to do sort of a 12 count of on worksheet 2.1 of Dancing Toys by Ernst Krenek, German composer who kind of very eclectic, jack of all trades, tried lots of different methods and techniques, and including 12-tone serialism. And in this piece, Krenek is not, I don't know that his music is, I don't know if I want to say it hasn't aged well. It's not played very much. It's kind of fun, kind of funny. I haven't encountered a lot of really profound music by him, but this is an interesting and good one for demonstrating some things. So let's listen to a little bit of it and follow along with this score. Well, we'll listen to the whole thing. Why not? It's only a minute long. And here we go. You'll notice the characteristic neoclassic rhythm and texture. Now, I was going to say, there's lots we could talk about this piece. I mentioned, again, that kind of neoclassical transparent texture with fairly straightforward periodic rhythms, meaning rhythms that has a beat, essentially, that we didn't find so much with the free atonal music that tends to be rhythmically much more fluid and harder to resolve to a steady beat. Anyway, some other things that we might notice is that this particular this D minor second inversion triad comes up a lot. It's sort of a recurring item, and we notice that the melody seems to be more in the left hand maybe than the right hand. It goes to the right hand too. And well, we won't get into a formal analysis, but let's look at the 12-tone serial aspect. Now, I mentioned that this was in first order serialism. Well, that means that we can just look at the first 12 pitch classes, and that'll give us our 12-tone series, our P0. So we've got F, D, A, B flat, B. Now again, remember this F is held out, but it doesn't matter. It's where the attack points are. B, C, G sharp, D sharp, F sharp, C sharp. What did we have? 12 yet? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, E, G, 12. And then we come back to F again. So the first two bars are the P0. Now let's look at, well, I want to show you this first. Oh, I don't want to show you this yet. Here's an analysis that I someone had done. This is a little bit different printing of the score, but you can see that, well, let's go to this. Actually, here's a 12 count, and so there indeed, F, D, A, B flat, B natural, C, G sharp, etc. That's our 12 tone row. Now, over here, this person has given us the matrix. There's our initial 12 tone row. You know, F, D, G, etc. Let's see, is that what we've got here? No, this is, forget about this. This is just listing what the pitch classes are. Anyway, okay, this is a different kind of matrix, actually, I should mention, which is, I don't recommend doing it this way, but what this person has done is said, I don't care what's going on. I'm going to make the C the upper left, and I'm going to do my matrix. Every matrix has C in the upper left corner. So that's one way to do it. I don't recommend it, but in that particular formulation, then C is 0, and that because the piece starts on F, rather than P0, this is going to be P5. So let's see, there's 5 right there, P5, F, D, A, B flat, etc. Yes, indeed, that is the row form we start with. Now, let's continue and see what happens. P0, F, D, A, B flat, B, F, D, A. Let's blow this up a little bit. F, D to A, B flat, B. Oh, another P0. Okay. F, D, A, B flat, B, C, etc. Okay, F, D, where are we? A, well, you can see this kind of goes out of order. A, B flat, B, etc. Well, what's happening here? This entire piece only uses the P0, okay, from start to finish, and it only has one row form at a time. So that's basically the concept here. So this piece, Dancing Toys, is the sort of simplest manifestation of 12-tone serialism, but I think in some ways it's quite effective, and there's nothing wrong with it. And so again, doesn't really need to use this matrix which this person created. And again, this person has called this P5 instead of P0, and you can see they have circled all of the, instead of, you know, numbering the order numbers, they've just simply circled each manifestation of the P5 and then onto the second page, and it's all P5s or P0s as I would call them all the way. So that's basically one of the most straightforward 12 counts I know of. Again, I think a fairly effective piece. Now, in terms of your worksheet, I asked you to come up with your own 12-tone row, and then to write a short piano piece. And so you could have used any method you wanted, as long as you don't repeat any pitch classes and you include all 12 pitch classes. That is a 12-tone row. And then I asked you to only use P0 and one at a time, just like the Dancing Toys. Using that, you can create melody, harmony, counter melody, anything, just like Krenek did. And of course, I gave you these 4 grand staves, and I hope you had fun with that. Again, in some ways, this is in some ways the funnest technique, because it takes care of so many details for you. And then you can focus more on the really fun, super audible parts of music, the dynamics, instrumentation, register, density, texture, essentially. It's really a way of focusing on texture and then choosing a 12 tone row that brings coherence to the music. And this sound may not be to everybody's taste, but as a composer, I think a lot of my students have found that they've had a lot of fun with this. And it also gives you a chance to sort of get your sort of uh, tortured kind of writer's block. I have to be a great artist, all that kind of stuff out of the way. It's like, oh, you've got a task to do. You got to come up with a 12 tone row, and then use different, you know, manifestations of that. And so I would encourage you to have fun with it. And someday, if you want to use the 12 tone method to write profound music, then you can torture yourself as much as you want. But in the meantime, I hope that this will be fun. Okay, that should be enough for today.